All right, hello, East Central Independent School District. My name is Brandon Oliver, and I am the Director of Marketing and Communications for East Central ISD. And we're bringing you another Facebook and YouTube Live. And these have been so helpful and so transparent with our parents and guardians and our community. And this particular episode, we're going to be talking all about East Central High School and get an update on activities and events and what's going on with seniors. So if we're talking about East Central High School, then we got to be talking with the man himself, which is the principal, Shane McKay. And Mr. McKay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Brandon. Thank you for your time, and I just want to thank our parents and any of the students that are joining in. I know we sent this out to our entire student body, and we have a lot of things to cover. One of the key highlights we'll talk about tonight is some of the senior things that we've got coming up, and we just really want to make sure everybody knows the opportunities that are right around the corner for everybody.
All right, well, let's dive right in. I'll let you take us through this.
Yeah, so I think the first thing we wanted to talk about was community labs, and many of these are just reminders or things that we've talked about, or you may have even seen in Mr. Toscano's Facebook and YouTube lives that we partner with community labs, which is providing free COVID testing for our students and our staff across our district, but more importantly for us here at the high school, all of our students and staff that are here. And so that's provided weekly, free of charge. We start as early as 7:15 in the morning, and it goes till 9:15, and it's on the first day of the week. So if we don't have school on Monday because of a holiday or a staff development day, then we do it on a Tuesday. But most of the time we've got that scheduled. And as you can also see on this website that Mr. Oliver may talk a little bit about, it's actually at several of the other elementary campuses. So I highly encourage, if it does anything, it brings peace of mind. I know with some of the numbers, it can be very alarming when we look at the numbers across the city. But I'll say for my own self and my own family, I get tested every Monday, and as well as my daughter who goes to school here, she gets tested, and it just brings an additional peace of mind. And I don't know, Mr. Oliver, do you want to talk about the site, how they can get more information about community labs?
Sure, absolutely. If you go to ecisd.net/health, it'll bring you to our health portion of the website. And then if you go down to community labs, you can read all sorts of information. There's a video and a frequently asked questions about community labs. You can view our case numbers if you want to check those out, as well as our testing data. And we keep this updated pretty frequently. And then, like you said, Mr. Toscano, Superintendent Toscano, does a deep dive into that. So if you want, you can go back into an earlier video, and Superintendent Toscano goes through the numbers at great length. And then, of course, the scheduling. It talks all about how to schedule a test. And then you're absolutely right, Mr. McKay, because I did the test yesterday, actually at Heritage, full transparency. And I mean, it was super easy. It was super simple. It's not the one that go, like way up the nostril. I mean, it's like barely on the inside of the nostril, barely. You do like 5 circles in each one, and you're done. And it's really that fast.
Yeah, we've got kindergartners doing it, and you administer it yourself. And I know we've got many students who are on remote instruction, but they come up here every day to practice and play and participate in our extracurricular events, whether it be band or in our UIL programs or in our athletics. So even for those students, and families, I highly encourage it. The idea is to stop the silent spreaders. It's the asymptomatic carriers, especially in our youth and in our young staff who may not show the same signs and symptoms as maybe those that are a little bit older. And I just say that to say that, it'd just be really good. And again, we believe that the way to safely reopen schools is for us to do this testing. So again, it's highly encouraged. It's not mandatory, but I just wanted to bring it back up because I know every week they run their tickets, so to speak, that the kids have already filled out their consent forms, or parents have signed their consent forms. But there are still several that are not coming through. So I just want to encourage all of our students and parents, please encourage your children to come through and to get tested to help keep our community safe. Yeah,
testing is voluntary. And do want to add, I mean, the results, I got them back next day. I'm in the clear. All right. Might be TMI, right? But, I'm in the clear. But yeah, it was super easy. Just, light swabs right at the entrance of the nostril. I mean, you're done in like 30 seconds. You get the results back within a day. And it was really easy. I was kind of blown away. Tiffany Glack asked, where can I get the consent form? And actually it's right here. If you see this link right here, bring the consent form, you click on that, it'll bring up the consent form. You can fill it out, send it in to the nurse. The nurse's emails are located here, and you can do that. So again, ecisd.net/health. And I'll put it up in the comments as well.
By the way, if that's Miss Clack that's related to one of our former graduates, Maisha, tell her I said hello. If you're somehow related to her, she's an amazing young lady. So we miss her here on our campus.
Yeah. All right. I know we got an ambitious agenda. What's next?
All right. Well, I want to talk about course selection process. We sent out a mail out to all of our parents and community regarding the course selection process, how you can access the information. The course selection guides are on our website, but as well as we even sent the course selection paperwork. Now, for our students that have been here face-to-face, our counselors have been working really diligently and been going in the classrooms, even in our 8th grade classrooms, and going through the process and having them fill their forms out, take them home, get their parents to sign them, bring them back up, and then we've been inputting those into the computer. But for those that are on our remote learners, what we're asking you to do is the deadline is at the end of this week. Is you go through on the My Texas portal, which will be on our website, and enter your courses into that portal. It's very simple. All you need really is your student ID and your first and last name, and then the last 4 digits of your social security number. And it's very easy. So we've put on here, but as well as you can find this on our counselor's website, there's a QR code. So if you have an opportunity to scan that or see that, or you can go back and watch it later. But we did send those home in person, as well as the students that are face-to-face. We also gave them a copy, but as well as it's also on our website. And I know that our counselors spoke about it at their Facebook, YouTube live session a few weeks ago. But this is just designed to be a gentle reminder that we really have a hard deadline on getting this information. If we do not get it in time, I know our counselors are going to do everything we can to continue to reach out to our students, but they will eventually have to go ahead and schedule their courses for them, because it has a lot of implications for us. I know it on the outside of the surface may seem like a very simple task, but trying to program in for over 3,200 students on our campus in a 7-period day is like a massive Tetris game that is always evolving, and we've got to have all those pieces in place. So counselors will begin to hand schedule students based on their program of study and their PGP, their personal graduation plan information. So if you want to have an opportunity to select your courses, take advantage of it now. If you have questions about that, please contact your child's counselor tomorrow. But all of this is on the counselor's website on how to do it. Very, very simple process. I've been really impressed with the layout of this.
Definitely. And I mean, this is the fun stuff, you know? Like, I want to go back in a time and pick some classes, Did have a couple questions real quick about the testing before we move on and lose track of them. Nicole Gonzalez asks if they can go to any school, as long as it's on that schedule. It doesn't have to be at the high school.
What I believe the recommendation is it's at your home campus. So if you're a high school student, to come to the high school, I think part of that is not the intermingling of the different grade levels as much as possible. If not, check with that campus level principal if it's okay for you to bring your child on. I know here on our campus, we have several staff from across the district, from transportation, child nutrition, that they all come on our campus to test. But when it comes to students, my understanding is to do your best to stay on your home campus or your grade level campus. So if it's elementary to elementary.
And it kind of follows, answers our follow-up question. If we complete a consent form and turn it in, do the other schools have that, that information and have access to that information?
And I could say yes, ma'am, to that, because it all goes into a common portal, and our district nurse, Ms. Hart, actually is the one that helps to run all of that, as well as all the campus level nurses. So yes, ma'am, they will be accessible at the other campuses. So that's a great question, Ms. Gonzalez.
But you want to be consistent, you don't want to do a tour of East Central, in this for this thing.
I'm a little biased, but our system is really smooth because we use the Patterson. So we got a lot of room for the staff and students to come in where they can socially distance apart and get in and out literally in that visitors parking lot right across the way. And we did it that way on purpose because we know we have many remote learners that their kids play basketball or getting ready to start up softball or baseball. And they literally can pull up, park in the visitors lot, get out, go in, get tested, go back to the visitors lot, and head back home for instruction. So I think it does make it very, very easy to get in and out.
Someone I missed it, but they said it's been over a week and no results received. Check your email, check your spam folders.
Yes.
Like I said, for mine, and I used a personal email. It came right to my email. I just clicked on it, followed the instructions, and I was able to get in there. I would suggest that, if you haven't heard, definitely contact the school nurse, and inquire. But yeah, check your spam folders. Folders. Sometimes they're in there. And I don't want to get too deep into the rabbit hole on testing, because I've noticed a couple of these questions, such as what do we do if? Actually, I'm sorry, that's not the right one. In the event that a student, staffer tests positive, how's that handled? I'm sure you've already seen the emails. We email and call and send out in the app a notification for every positive that goes out through Parent Link. And it kind of talks about what we do and working with Metro Health. And then there's previous Facebook Lives with Superintendent Toscano, where he deep dives into all of this discussion. And I don't want to skip her question. I just don't want to fall too deep into that rabbit hole, because we'll spend 30 minutes on it. But yeah, definitely, reach out, to your school nurse, look at ecisd.net/health, and then go back on either YouTube or Facebook to some of our earlier videos. And Mr. Toscano breaks it down, for students who are sent home and told to quarantine because of possible exposure. If they take a test that comes back negative, are they able to return to school and sports?
Per the guidelines right now, everybody has a different a period that they may potentially test positive. So right now, even with our staff, if they had a close contact exposure in their home life, which has been every case right now, and they have to quarantine for the duration of the time. The school nurse can give some additional. I know there's some new criteria that have come out after so many days they can test, but I believe you have to have a couple of negative tests in a row before you'd be allowed, which essentially still comes out to 14 days. So they're not allowed to come back early. I know that we have staff that have unfortunately had to be quarantined again because close contact exposure to a family member, and they're just chomping at the bit to come back. What if I take a test? Can I come back? No, because the guidelines right now per CDC and Metro Health is you have to quarantine. And so it's unfortunate, but it's for the community's safety, and doing our best to avoid spread.
Remote learners can get tested.
Right now we've pretty much relegated it to any student who is coming to face-to-face. So whether they're coming to participate for face-to-face events. So whether they're involved in extracurriculars, they're remote throughout the day. So if your child is definitely engaged in something after school or before school or one of our co-curricular events like band or in the spirit teams, absolutely let them come on and come test. But if they're full-time remote and they never come on campus, unfortunately right now we're limited. We still have a limited number that we can give out.
Definitely. All right. So again, I didn't want to fall too deep into the rabbit hole. Again, there's a lot of information on our website, a lot of information Superintendent Toscano goes over for about an hour on his Facebook and YouTube lives as regards to COVID and going through all the numbers. But let's get back, Mr. McKay, to your agenda, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, just the course selection process is finalizing. So please get with your child, make sure you guys have entered your courses in so we can start to map out your child's classes for next year. I'll say one more thing. Again, all of that information is found on our counselor's website on our webpage, and you can find the course information that's also on there, what the prerequisites are. And I'll say that our course selection guide is pretty extensive. We offer a lot of courses that really tailor to the interest of our students. So let's take advantage of that and put in for what courses you would like based on your endorsement and based on your interest and based on what fits into your PGP. So I'm just encouraging our students and our parents to take advantage of that.
All right.
The next one is school day SAT. I did talk about this on our last Facebook and YouTube live, but March 3rd is the date. So we did not set that date. College Board set that date, but we are offering it to every single junior on our campus free. Now, there are some 12th graders that would qualify for it. Their counselors have been reaching out to them to let them know that they qualify to take it, and it's based on certain requirements that they have to have. So if you haven't already been contacted and you're interested, if you're a senior and do you qualify for it or not, feel free again to reach out to your counselor. They'll be happy to let you know. There is a QR code on there, as well as we are going to be sending this information out in our Google Classroom to all of our senior teachers' classes, because we do know many of you are remote, but we will need you to sign up for it because we need to know how many desks we need to prepare for. Here's what I can tell you is I know that some people have various levels of degrees of anxiety and concern, and rightly so, based on the virus. But we are going to be utilizing large spaces as well as classrooms. So for our remote learners, we're going to be utilizing big gyms and really spacing those kids out, sometimes 10 to 15, almost even 20 feet apart from each other. So we want you to feel comfortable if your child's coming up and is a remote learner to take the SAT. But again, I'm going to repeat one more time, it's 100% free. And we really would like to have all 862 of our junior class come and test on that day. You will have to be in your seat by 8:30 because we do, according to College Board, we have a start time. It's a national start time. And we don't have any say on that because then we also have to get our students to pre-bubble in all of their information. So there's a registration code that we're going to ask every student, whether you're face-to-face or remote, to fill it out. Now, no, if you're here face-to-face, we're already programming you in on that day. But if you're remote, we're highly, highly encouraging you to come onto the campus and to test for SAT. Really, really important, especially as you start thinking about your post-secondary plans.
All right, and I'm actually putting the link up there for everyone. Someone did ask, are the juniors needing to register when and where?
So their registration process is basically nothing more than filling out that simple document that we have on this that we've shared with your student, and we'll put on the Google Classrooms for them to be able to fill out, as well as this is on our website, on the counselor's website, so you can access that as well. But we'll make sure that you get to do that. And really the simple process, just letting us know that they're going to be coming, and that's all they need to do. We are already taking care of the cost. We're already taking care of registering them with College Board. They'll fill out the paperwork when they're in there on the test day. The test administrator will walk them through how to bubble in all the information, and then they start to take the test. It is without the writing piece, so it's about a 4-hour test. And I know when my son took it here a few years ago, I believe it cost me $78 for him to take it, and now it's free for East Central High School juniors. So we're paying for that. And we're just trying to get more of our students to take this, this important exam.
All right. And if a senior is not eligible for the free test, is paid testing available?
So not on that day, but we do have a couple of more dates that are upcoming on our campus. I do not have them memorized. Unfortunately, my bandwidth only goes so far in my memory banks. But that also would be on our Go Center website, and you can check out when the next SAT and even ACT. We are an SAT and ACT approved site, so we give those on Saturdays. And we've already given, I think, the SAT twice, and we've given the ACT once on our campus. So highly encourage you, if you are a senior and you haven't taken it or you'd like to take it again, I always recommend taking it more than once, to go onto our Go Center website, find the information on SAT, and register as soon as possible for the next available exam.
All right. What else we got?
So next one is just school pictures. We know many of our students came in and took their pictures here on campus. They took advantage of Life Touches photographers to do that. If you took advantage of that opportunity, please know that we have your proofs. If you're a senior, your proofs are up here and you took your picture. Your proofs and or pictures are right here at our receptionist desk. So parents, you can come park in the visitors parking lot. You can come in, give your child's name to our receptionist. She'll find your child's pictures or proofs and give them to you. Now, students, you would have to come up because your proofs and or pictures, if you're an underclassman, are actually with our journalism teacher, our yearbook teacher, Ms. Labordi. So we definitely want you to know that that's the case, as well as, and we'll talk a little bit more about the senior pictures later, but we are still planning on trying to get a senior panoramic together. But there are many seniors who did not take advantage of the 4 days that we offered for senior pictures. Here's an actual sample that Herndon, who has done our senior panoramic for years, is offering up. But right now we're still missing close to 300 seniors that would need to send us their pictures. So we have this Google form that we have sent out to our senior teachers. I believe we've asked them to share it with our seniors. So you can upload a picture, follow that Google form, but probably some things you can do. You can come on campus, go to room 2217, or that's the yearbook journalism room, Ms. Labordi, between now and January 30th. And you can have her take your headshot for us to be able to use for the yearbook. Or if you already have a headshot, then you can send it to, and I'm going to give you an email address. It is Terry, it's TERRI .real, REAL, at ECHS.net. That's terry.real at ECHS.net. You can send her your photos as well. The reason why we have to have that January 30th deadline for that picture to be uploaded is because they're producing the yearbook, which I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. And so for it to get in the yearbook, we have to meet deadlines. And so if you want your picture to be in the yearbook, we need that to be uploaded. And then seniors specifically, we need you to send it to Miss Real and fill out this quick Google form. Even if you just send the email, we're going to find a way to get it in there to Miss Real. We're going to find a way to get in there and get it in there for the panoramic. But the deadline is the 30th of January. So that's Sunday. Need to get it in by Sunday as quickly as you can.
All right. Well, you mentioned yearbook.
Yeah.
We're talking yearbook now.
Yeah. So believe it or not, we are having a yearbook. If you've been to any of our events that we have had we have been allowed to have on campus, you'll see our journalism students out taking pictures. I know I saw Ryan and Mackenzie just most recently at events. There's some of our senior journalism students taking great pictures at our events, and they've been working hard behind the scenes to get this yearbook together. So there's an opportunity to order your yearbook, and it will be mailed directly to your house. And there's still a little bit of time if you are wanting to do a senior ad page to just honor your senior. And you can also get a hold of Miss Labordi. She'll get you that information, and she'll be happy to tell you how you can upload and send your pictures and take care of that and get a senior page. I believe that deadline's coming up very soon as well. But yearbooks are still on sale, so we're looking forward to it.
There's the URL right there, www.balfour.com. Ms. Alvarez asked if they took advantage and took their senior picture on campus, they do not have to send anything in, correct?
You are correct, Ms. Alvarez. Very much so. We're good. They're good to go. They're going to be in the yearbook. They'll be in the senior panoramic. We're just really trying to encourage our seniors to send their picture if they did not have a chance. We have no more opportunities to do retakes because the deadlines are really fastly approaching, and we provided 4 opportunities to do that on campus. So moving forward, we've got to just ask them to send it in. But yes, they will definitely be in the yearbook, and they will be in the senior panoramic.
All right. What's next topic?
All right. Well, study hall. All right. So fasten your seatbelts. We are going to have a slight schedule change the week of February 15th. We're going to send out some more correspondence. Parents, a letter will be going out to our students and parents. We are adding a few minutes to our instructional day on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We know that our last class historically has been ending at 2:10 on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Starting after February 15th, our day will be ending at 2:55. Our instructional day will be ending at 2:55. We'll still have tutoring going on and asynchronous time going on. But parents, if you do come to pick your child up, we're going to be ending the day at 2:55. Fourth period's been moved back a little bit. And here's the reason why. With remote learning, we are getting more students, or we're getting some students to come back for face-to-face, and I'll talk about it in a minute, that we're seeing the huge gains in learning when they come back to school. But we also see that students are struggling academically, and there's what we're calling loss of learning, sometimes significant loss of learning. And what the study hall is designed is for our students that are here on face-to-face is to receive small group instructional support in their core classes that they are taking that they may be struggling in. So let's just say it's a student struggling in math. He or she will be programmed in with their math teacher during that study hall and get additional help from their math teacher that they're already working with on a weekly basis as is. And the whole design of that, again, is to support our students to gain some of that academic learning that they may have already lost. The second thing that we're doing, though, is there are many students who are doing well and they're managing their workload, but they just need time. I know I've got one in my household who's sometimes staying up till midnight or 1 o'clock just trying to get all of her homework done because she's highly involved in a lot of school events. And I know many of you talked about and sent in thought exchange information about student mental health and trying to keep advantage of it. So what this will provide for our students who are on track is a 35-minute window to do work, uninterrupted, quiet time. But what they'll be allowed to do during that time, just like tutoring, is they'll be able to tap into their student or their teacher's Google Classroom using their Google Classroom code, and they can ask their math, their science, their English, their social studies, or even their elective teachers a question that they may have about the work they're doing during that 35-minute window, and the teachers will be able to respond immediately. So we know the teachers are going to be helping the face-to-face students that are here, and then students at any time remotely can tie into that class, and the teacher can come over, answer that question either in the chat or using the audio, and then can then go back to helping our students face-to-face. So it's just really designed. Our teachers have had input on this. Our guiding coalition, our site-based committees had some input on this. We feel like it's going to help students regain some of that academic knowledge and improve student learning in their grades. We really think it's going to really help with that. And again, that's only going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's right after lunch, so it's after third period. So it's between third and fourth period. Every student who is here on face-to-face will be programmed into a teacher's classroom. And then our remote students, that for you is a study hall time. It's time for you to get schoolwork done time, and time for that you can tap into all of your teachers' classrooms for that 35-minute window and ask for help if you need help on work you're working on. So
just backtracking for just a second, Ms. McClure asked what happened if they missed class ring day.
I would reach out to Balfour, is also the same company that we've used in the years past for juniors to order their rings. So I would, Ms. McClure, I would highly recommend reach out to Balfour. Larry Thompson is our Balfour representative, and he has always been incredibly responsive, does a great job taking care of our kids and our families, our community. I'm very loyal to him and the work that he does for our kids and our community, because I've seen it firsthand, go above and beyond. to help. So I would reach out to Balfour, and everything that we utilize, we've utilized them for class rings.
All right, so it's yearbooks and class rings. What else can you get at balfour.com?
Invitations, cap and gowns. There's a lot that Balfour does for us, and they give us a preferred rate. So our students do get a lower cost because we use them as a preferred vendor. And of course, we get nothing from it. The only thing we get from it is loyal customer service. And again, I've seen them go above and beyond. An example would be graduation day. Student lost his or she lost their tassel. He comes right over, takes care of it, gives the student a tassel, no charge. Here you go. You need it for graduation. You can't cross the stage without a tassel. And that even happened at our parade of graduates this last year. You know, he was running around helping some students who lost their cap or lost their tassel. So he's there to help them out, so they've got what they need. So he goes above and beyond. For Balfour is a great company to work with. Yeah.
So your graduation needs, caps and gowns, invites, yearbooks, all that stuff. Balfour.com is our vendor. So you might want to bookmark that page.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a question about the study hall. Can the student hop between classes during this time for questions, or are they programmed into a specific class per period?
So if they're here face-to-face, they will be programmed into a class. But while they're in that class, they'll be able to tie into other teachers' classes if they have questions. So an example would be you're in a teacher's class and you're doing work for your social studies project that you have coming up, and you have a question about whether this is a credible source or not. You can then tie into because every teacher will have a Google Meet code for their study hall period. I can go find my teacher's Google Meet code, click on it, boom, he'll get the ding. Hey, how can I help you, Shane? Hey, I have a question about whether this is a credible source or not. No, that is not. Or yes, that is. Here's where you can find credible sources, or here's how you know if it's a credible source. Boom. Okay, thank you. And then I go back and I can keep doing my work. So if they're face-to-face, they're going to be programmed into class, but they'll be allowed to tie into any other teacher's classes if they need help at that time. But if they're programmed into a core teacher's class, that's probably because their academic progress up to this point shows that they need additional support. So they're going to be with the math, with the science, with an English, or with the social studies teacher if they've already been struggling in that class academically.
All right. What we got next?
All right. So just want to just mention too about staying connected with your students' academic progress. Just a reminder about Texas Connect and what Texas Connect can provide. As a parent, if you have not already done it, I highly encourage you to go to our school district website. You can then go to Family Resources. Under Family Resources, you can go down and you'll see it says Texas Connect, our grades. And so you can click on that, Mr. Oliver. And then when you go there, that gives you an opportunity to use username and password. If you have not logged in and done this before, there's a little button down there that says New Texas Connect User. You'll click there, and then it will ask you for a portal ID. If you do not have your child's portal ID, all you have to do is email Deborah.Hernandez@ECHS.net, or call the school office and ask for the attendance office. Or you can email our attendance clerk, Deborah.Hernandez@ECHS.net, and she will get you that portal ID that you need to log in and create an account, and then you can access your child's grades at any time. And then you can set alerts to send you a text if their grade falls below a certain number or a threshold, so you can stay on top of them. And I would say right now more than ever, we all want to be really trustworthy that our kids are taking care of what they need to. But I can just tell you from my own experience, from somebody that's been living in my own household, every now and then they need a gentle reminder that we're always watching and we're holding them accountable to taking care of their business in their classes. So I highly encourage parents to log on there, and that's a way to really stay engaged with your students' academic progress.
Heather asked, where can we find out students' GPA and class rank?
God, it's a great question. Reach out to your child's counselor. Know that we, from the first semester to the second, we typically do not solidify rank until about mid-February. It just takes a while for us to sift and sort through, and even for those that are in the top, we hand calculate to make sure that it's accurate and that the computer program is doing it right. So I'd say by mid-February, feel free to reach out to your child's counselor, and they'll be able to get you their rank.
And then going back to the study hall, one question about that: how will study hall work for remote learners?
Great question. So that is an independent time for students to do work at home. And during that time, they can tie into any one of their teachers' classrooms and ask for help. They'll all have every teacher will be accessible. Every teacher will be available. There's no athletic periods. There's no conference periods. There's none of that. Every single teacher will be available and accessible, obviously, unless they're ill or are not at work that day. But every teacher will be available, and they can tie in at any time during that remote time to any one of their teachers.
All right. All right. So what else we got?
We're just going to talk a lot about senior stuff now. So,
oh boy, here we go. And by the way, folks, I saw like a gajillion questions about graduation. It's coming. There's just a lot for Mr. McKay to get through. But yes, go ahead.
Well, I first want to talk about Alamo Promise, Achiever Promise, and FAFSA. So, if you're not aware, our students, because they are students at East Central and because our tight partnership with Alamo Community Colleges, specifically with Palo Alto, our students qualify for tuition free at any one of the 5 Alamo colleges for up to 3 years, as long as they're taking a minimum of 9 hours a semester, maintaining a minimum GPA, and take care of their business. They actually can go to community college for free. That was not heard of when I was a student growing up. I'm a first-gen college goer, and I'm still paying on my college debt today. I could not imagine having this opportunity. But here's what it takes. It's really some very simple steps. And the first simple step is seniors, really easy. You got to go do the Save Your Seat by February 15th. And this is on our Go Center website. You literally just have to click on the link, type in your information, hit save, and you're done. Now, here's what I tell all seniors, and I told all seniors this last year when we first had this option, is you may be going to Cornell University. You may be going to Oregon University. You may be having plans on going to UT, Texas A&M, University of Houston, UTSA. You never know. It doesn't hurt you, and you're not committing a blood oath to go to one of the Alamo community colleges. All it takes is about 30 seconds to fill the form out and hit Save Your Seat. And let me tell you why. Last year, after this date, COVID hit. We had about 150 seniors who were going to be going out of state or long distance for their colleges. Now we're relegated to stay in San Antonio. And what was amazing that I was able to find out for many of them is because they did that simple process of Save Your Seat, they went ahead now and they're going to one of the Alamo community colleges. And then they're going to go to that big 4-year university once this thing kind of clears up. And not only are they saving their family a lot of money, but they're able to stay close to home during that. And here's what I tell our students. It's a safety net. Even if you're planning on going to a large 4-year university, it hurts no one to do this process because you never know the crooked paths that our lives lead us to. And by this time next year, we want to at least make sure that you're at some pathway to meet your post-secondary goals. So February 15th is the deadline. That's the first step. And then the second step you have to do, again, free of charge, takes a little bit more time, maybe about 20 minutes max. You need to do the Alamo Promise Apply Texas application. Again, that link is on that website. That's on our Go Center webpage, which is inside of our counselor's webpage. And then the last thing, and parents, this is where we need your help, and we need you to engage with Miss Lauren Brim Long, our Go Center, our Go Center staff advisor. She is our college career military readiness advisor. But you got to complete the FAFSA. And what that does is that allows now the Alamo community colleges to apply that grant money so your child can go to one of the Alamo community colleges for free, regardless if they're going to be going to UT, regardless if they're going to be going to Oregon or they're going to be going to Cornell, whatever it is, they still have to do the FAFSA. My son is at A&M in College Station. Every year I still have to fill out the FAFSA for him as a part of his enrollment process that we have to do every year. So My recommendation is, if you haven't completed it yet, jump onto the FAFSA website. It's really easy, simple to find. Go through Google, and I'll reach out to Miss Brim Long. Her team is amazing in the Go Center, and they'll be happy to walk you through step by step. We have even opened up and had nights up to this point, several. I think we've had up to 9 nights where we've had parents come up and we walked them through, but we're even doing day appointments where families can come in, meet in the Go Center or one of our computer labs with Miss Brim Long and her team, and they will walk you through step by step on how to do that. So Alamo Promise is huge. Again, regardless of where you're going, fill it out. We even had a student who luckily did this, but said he was going to go join the Army, went to MEPS, went to take a physical, found out he had a pre-existing condition he didn't know about, was not able to join the Army. Now he's going to Palo Alto. So thankfully he did that, and take advantage of that safety net. It hurts nobody to do that. All it does is take a few minutes of your time, and I just could not imagine not doing it. But also, I do want to talk. Go ahead, Mr. Oliver.
Oh, Mr. McKay, I just wanted to say there's a lot of love here for going through the junior college route, community college route, and then going to the university. I did it, and I think I came out okay.
Not great. And I took, and to be transparent with you, I took several classes at St. Philip's while I was also going to a 4-year university, and I kicked myself in the butt for not starting there. It saved me a lot of money, and I was able to get a lot more individual support. And I just felt like maybe I should have started there. It doesn't matter where you end up, or it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end up. And there's a lot of technical certifications. So even if you're thinking, well, I want to be a certified welder, or I want to go work at Toyota and I want to get certain certifications in automated manufacturing, guess what? You do Alamo Promise. They have certification programs through their school free of charge. Now, if you go pay for them outside, you're going to be paying $1,500 to $3,000 possibly a semester to go through it. And I don't know about you, I don't have that kind of money laying around. So it's just an amazing, even fire science. We have students that are going to the Fire Science Academy at SAC. They don't have to pay for it because they did Alamo Promise. Yeah.
You know, you can always reach people with money, and, you know, talking about money. And here's an opportunity where the first 2 years, I mean, you know, I don't want to just, if people are set on 4 years, they're set on 4 years, right? You know, and don't want to dissuade them at all. But, you know, usually the first 2 years of college are, you know, writing, reading, math. I mean, they're kind of like the same classes. It's more the upperclassmen that they start, you know, having classes that are more appropriate for their field. So why not go to a place where, you know, it's basically free, you know, because they're going to cover whatever's not covered by financial aid. You know, is awesome. And the other thing I want to point out too is, since we're talking dollars and cents and money here, is FAFSA is your friend, and you should be going to that website and filling that out. If you want any sort of financial aid, even if you don't go to the Alamo colleges, even if you want to go to UT, Texas State, A&M, whatever, you know, FAFSA is your first stop. And so, you know, I'm big on the money, and you know, and for families that you know are you know, living paycheck to paycheck, you know, these are huge opportunities that I mean, we didn't have when we went you know, to college and back to school.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate that, you know, I'm passionate about it, and I get a little fired up when I start talking about it, because I just see these opportunities for our kids, and we want so much for them. And what a great time to be in school and to be at East Central, to have these types of opportunities afforded to our students. And so, and again, I'll reiterate one more thing about the FAFSA is, you may think, well, we won't qualify for any financial aid. Let's just say that you're fortunate enough to not have been impacted by COVID, and both parents are well educated and well employed. You still got to do the FAFSA. So it doesn't hurt to take a few minutes to do that. So I just highly encourage our students and their parents to get together and to go through that process as together. And I want to add one other partner. We have 2 other partners really that I want to talk about. And the next partner I want to talk about, and we don't have a flyer for this, Mr. Oliver, is the Achiever Promise. And it's through Texas A&M San Antonio, because we are one of their affiliate schools, and we actually have a college advisor from Texas A&M San Antonio who works in our Go Center with Ms. Brim Long, helping to advise students on post-secondary plans. We now, any graduate starting this year who graduates in the top 10%, regardless of financial status, will get tuition free for 4 years at Texas A&M San Antonio. So again, if you're a senior and you're looking at what your options are and you are in the top 10%, much like Alamo Promise, you'll have to go through a series of steps. And Ms. Brim Long and specifically Miss Elizabeth Alanis, who works in that office, will be happy to walk you through the steps to become an Achiever Scholar, right? To go to Texas A&M San Antonio. I'm going to tell you, I got my superintendency from there. I have been so impressed with their academics. I had a chance on Saturdays in our long sessions to sit in some of the classrooms and just read the writings that were on some of the dry erase boards at the high level of academia that was going on. And I would just tell you personally, I would hold them up to any of the other universities in our area, and it's a great opportunity. And again, if your plan is to maybe look at advanced degrees beyond your undergrad, what a great opportunity if you're in the top 10% to not have any debt going into your master's or your PhD programs. I would just tell you, $40,000 to $50,000 of debt is way different than $150,000 to $180,000 in debt because you're going on and your goal is to get a PhD or a master's. So I just highly encourage our seniors. You've got 2 options that are sitting right before you for free college. If you're not in the top 10%, take advantage of Alamo Promise. The only other one I want to talk about, Mr. Oliver, for our seniors, and I know that we're worried about prom and we're worried about graduation and we're worried about senior dress days, but these to me are the most important and pressing things that I want our seniors and their parents to know about. And that is our partnership with San Antonio Education Partnership Foundation. And because we are SAEP partners, again, go through the steps, and all you need to do is reach out to Ms. Brim Long and the Go Center staff, and they will walk you through the steps to do. And it's really 3 simple steps. One of those is to complete the FAFSA. One of those is to do Apply Texas. And then the last part will be to do their little piece through the San Antonio Educational Partnership Foundation. And when you do those 3 steps, now you qualify for tuition assistance for up to 4 years for each semester. So whether you're going to a 2-year university, a 4-year public university in San Antonio, or a 4-year private university in San Antonio. Now, because it is San Antonio Educational Partnership Foundation, it has to be a local San Antonio school. Unfortunately, TLU doesn't qualify. Texas State doesn't qualify. It has to be in the San Antonio area. So Incarnate Word, St. Mary's, UTSA, Trinity, A&M San Antonio, as well as all of the community colleges that are inside the city. If you qualify and you go through that process, that's all it takes. You can receive tuition assistance, and essentially they mail your university or your college a check, which helps to cover your books, your fees that may be associated, any other potential supplies and materials. So I'm just highly encouraging you to take advantage of all of these options. Reach out to Ms. Brim Long if you're a senior. I know she's had several senior meetings with seniors and contacted parents, but parents, let's work together and find all of this free money and resources for your kids to go to the next level, whether they're going to go to a trade or whether they're going to go on to a 2-year or a 4-year university.
I've been putting the link up for the Go Center at the bottom. We have over 200 people watching. So, what I want them to do is I want them to open another tab and type in ecisd.net/Go Center and bookmark that page, because it's a tremendous resource, for these next step things for our seniors and high school kids. So, open up a new tab, type in ecisd.net/Go Center, bookmark it. That way you can always access that page. All right. What else we got?
All right, so just want to talk about senior name verification, Google form, and your post-secondary plans. So students, there's your graduate information, and what we're asking our seniors to do. Normally in a traditional school year, we would have a table during the registration days, and then our counselors would be meeting one-on-one with each one of our students to verify that we have the correct spelling of your name. I can't overemphasize that because a letter switched here or there makes a huge difference. And so seniors, we're going to be sending this to you through your email, but as well as your senior teachers are going to be putting it up on their website or for their Google Classroom for you to go in and fill it out. You only fill it out one time. It has to be your legal name. First, middle, and last name have to be put on there because that's what goes on your diploma. That's what's going to go into the graduation program. And then we also want you to tell us about what your post-secondary plan is. You get one option to do that. And the reason why is we do mention that at graduation. So as you go to cross the stage, we will say your name and what your post-secondary plan is. So if you're joining the military, we will say what branch you're going into. That deadline is March 1st because we have to print this massive program to get all of that together. And we have to get it with Balfour, again, our preferred vendor, to print our diplomas. And we want to make sure that everything is correct. So just please take a few minutes. Seniors, fill this name verification form out that we'll be sending you. Some of this will be coming out this week or the next week to come. Just giving you a lot of heads up on that. And then the big thing also is your post-secondary plans. If you're going into the military or 2-year, 4-year college, you will be required to let Ms. Brim Long know, maybe send her the email that gave you the acceptance or the form that you received from the military that you have signed up. And what we also do, if you're not aware, for those of you that are here face-to-face, we're keeping that tradition alive. We will have your picture and where you're going next to it or the branch that you're joining. And it's a very proud wall that we leave up through the school year, which we're excited. We're going to be able to reestablish that and get going. So we want to be able to celebrate, put your picture up with where you're going on that wall right outside the counseling center in the admin office area. We want to celebrate with you. So you just got to let us know that, but please let us know with the spelling of your name, not a nickname. Again, one more time, your legal spelling of your name that would be as on your birth certificate. Any questions about that, Mr. Oliver? Are we good right now? Not, I'm going to keep moving on.
Well, real quick, some people are asking about the TSI, that some people got a notice to take the TSI test in lieu of the SAT, ACT. Can you mention just a little bit about that real quick?
So they're all right. Well, it depends on if they're an underclassman and they're going to be taking dual credit, they are going to have to take the TSI. And some of the universities and even colleges require you to take the TSI before you enroll. And what that does is that lets them know your college readiness. So it basically scales you on math and English and gives a baseline to the reporting institution that receives those scores on whether you may need a remedial course or not. So that's why you may have to have the TSI for some of those schools if you have not taken the SAT or ACT. If you've taken the SAT or ACT and you meet the qualifying scores, you don't have to do those remedial courses. If you don't make the qualifying scores, the university or college may require you to take the TSI to find out what your college readiness level is. And depending on what program you're in, I'll add one more layer to that. There may be additional assessments involved. So an example would be, again, my son goes to A&M in College Station. He's an engineering major. He took the SAT. He had a qualifying score for no remedial courses. Life was good, but then to go to the engineering school before his freshman year, he had to take a math readiness test, and he did that at the college. So certain colleges may require certain readiness exams, and that was just to see if he had the math skills to jump right into the calculus programs that they have from freshman year on. And some students made it and some students didn't. And if they didn't, they had to take a remedial math course before they could start the engineering program. And it's just a way to measure college readiness.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you don't want to take the remedial classes. Again, that's, college, man, we're talking money at that point. So, you don't want to. We
are a TSI approved site. So we do give the TSI here, which, you can go to one of the colleges or universities to take it there. But we are a TSI approved site. So they actually, earlier this week, And last week, we're giving the TSI in the Go Center, socially distance the kids out. Again, I continue to say our school is incredibly safe. They've been very thoughtful about how they roll that out, and they clean the computers after kids have touched them and required to wear their masks. But we are an approved site right here in our counseling center, and they can take that TSI here, and those scores could be sent to their college or their university. Again, go to the ecisd.net/Go Center, reach out to Ms. Brimlong and her team. They'll be happy to help.
Yeah, that's the website for tonight, y'all. ecisd.net/Go Center. Bookmark it, put it on a piece of paper, put it on the refrigerator with the magnet, of a hornet, and remember that. All right, let's move on.
I already talked a little bit about the college and scholarship acceptance notification. If you do receive notification that you've been accepted to a college or university, please email Ms. Brimlong. Let her know where you're going. And also, if you receive scholarship information, let your counselor and or Ms. Brimlong know that same thing, because we keep a running tally on that information. Again, and we want to celebrate with you on your post-secondary plans moving forward. The other thing, Mr. Oliver, I believe you have access to is a senior superlatives Google form. And I know this sounds crazy to say, but we always have things that we say that, how would you like to nominate some of your senior friends for the different superlatives that we've been given for years out to our seniors. So again, we're trying to keep as many of those time-honored traditions that Metro Health and CDC guidelines and TEA will allow us to, and this is one of the ones. So seniors, again, you're going to be inundated with some Google forms. Please just take a few minutes, fill them out. I know it won't take a long time, but go ahead and let us know who you think ought to win some of these awards. And we put it in our yearbook, and we like to have a good time with it. So I just want to make sure you know that information is coming soon.
Real quick, Mr. McKay, the senior superlatives, graduation information, both of these are Google forms. How do the students get to them?
Their teachers are going to be sharing them on their Google Classroom, as well as they're going to be emailed to them through the school email account. It'll come from Miss Merrifield. I did receive a text earlier from Miss Brimlong saying that some of them are saying they needed to have permission. So I'll get with Mr. Price and Ms. Anderson, our two senior sponsors, and make sure that they open up that any student in ECISD can, or any person with the ECISD, know that if you're a parent maybe trying to fill it out for your child and you're using your personal, or you're logged on through your personal email account to do it, it won't let you. It has to be through your ECISD email account to be able to fill that out. So we'll make sure we open up those permissions. I'll follow up with them as soon as this meeting's over to make sure that they grant access. But those are already, actually, some of those have already been sent out. So they're coming. So be on the lookout for them.
Okay.
Senior failures. So there are several seniors who are doing really, really well, and keep up the good work. Stay on track, finish strong. I'm going to talk about that at the end. So let's stay on top and stay the course, right? Relentless forward progress this year. Do the best you can. Focus on what you can control every day, and that's your attitude and your effort. But we do have some seniors that we talked about loss of learning, right? We talked about some of the challenges that COVID has brought, and I mentioned a little bit that face-to-face is more effective than asynchronous, or synchronous, and synchronous is more effective than asynchronous, right? We talked about the levels that are there, and some of our students who have been remote or chosen to been remote or doing specifically asynchronous are falling behind or failing not one, two, sometimes multiple courses. So counselors, our team has been reaching out and scheduling appointments. We're calling them our senior failure meetings. So parents, be on the lookout. If your child failed one or more courses, we will be reaching out to schedule a meeting. Some of those may be by phone. We are asking some to come in for face-to-face for us to sit down, go over our plans, partner with our parents and our students to see what's doable and what's not doable, and try to find some ground in the middle way for us to be able to help your child reach their graduation goals. So if that call comes, please help us out and respond for us to do that. And we are even going to be doing some home visits and what we're calling front porch meetings coming up in a few weeks, and coming by and seeing some of our seniors and their families and going through what we need to do to make adjustments to help them to reach their graduation goals. And again, our goal at East Central is we're willing to go above and beyond to help any student to be successful and have a great experience when they're here. And that's just one of the steps. So if you get a request for a senior failure meeting, no, it is not to shame or belittle or make anybody feel like they have not done their part. It's really for us to get a handle around what have been the challenges, what can we do to support, and let's create a plan together to help you to reach your graduation goals. And we've had several seniors that have started coming back this week for face-to-face instruction, and their teachers are already saying they're noticing a huge difference with them already coming back to school. So I just highly encourage you to do that. All right, let's talk about graduation. I know there's been a lot of questions. I know I've already seen thought exchange that went out, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I want everybody to be really clear. We're going to do everything we can in our power to have a graduation ceremony that we can honor our students in the most appropriate way. I know that some of you may have seen the parade of graduates last year, and I think it was an extremely successful event. All you need to do is ask last year's seniors and most importantly their parents and families of how meaningful it was for them. I know that I had several friends of mine that are principals across other schools, and they chose the idea to delay graduation. And I know of one district that 3 high schools did not even get a graduation because they delayed, and the Metro Health said no gatherings of more than 100 people. And so they didn't have anything. So what we're going to do is we're committed to trying to find the best way for us to honor, but also to stay within what the Metro Health, the state of Texas, and CDC guidelines are for gatherings. And we want to make sure that we do it in a respectful manner. So just know that we have not settled on any one plan yet. We have had a couple of graduation committee meetings. We have had some conversations with our guiding coalition, which is made up of parents and students and teachers on some ideas, as well as I've run some ideas and some filters through our site base, which is also made up of parents and, believe it or not, senior students to get some ideas on what could be conceivable. And we're also sending out a thought exchange to get some of those ideas on how we can honor our seniors this second semester in a way that which we can still keep everybody in our community safe. So, right now, graduation plans, we're really coming up with contingency plans upon contingency plans upon contingency plans. As Mr. Oliver has one time said, I like to be over-prepared. And he's kind of joked with me before on previous Facebook Lives. So I just want you to know we are thinking through everything. We have a meeting with the Freeman Coliseum folks about a Freeman Coliseum graduation. I'm going to be honest, I doubt, and I'm highly think that that's unlikely, but every school in the city of San Antonio that uses the Freeman Coliseum will be at that same meeting to talk about if some kind of miracle happens and the world opens up and we're able to have an in-person graduation in the Coliseum, then let's start making plans for that, to some type of in-person, to potentially the parade of graduates. And just like last year, we had many people who thought that there were better ideas that were out there and they were seeing what other schools and districts are doing. Know that we're going to do what we feel is best for our community, that's thoughtful and of everyone, and most importantly, going to keep everybody safe, and know that we all have a vested interest and we're not making decisions on a whim, but we're thinking about every perspective throughout it. So here's a link to the thought exchange. Thank you, Mr. Oliver, for putting this up. This is going to be going out. It should have gone out at about 7 o'clock tonight. To our parents and our students, and as well as students, we're asking your senior English and your senior social studies teachers to share it with you in class, just to leave us some thoughts. And we're really asking you, knowing that safety is still our #1 priority, what are some of the thoughts about how we could create meaningful experiences to honor our seniors? Once you leave us a thought, it'll allow you to see other people's thoughts, and then you can rate it, much like an Amazon rating. You can go through and rate other thoughts that you connect with, other thoughts you may not connect with them, and you may 1-star them, and other thoughts may come through and you highly connect, and you can do 5 stars on those. What's going to happen is that's going to allow some of our top thoughts to bubble up to the surface, and then we're going to take those top thoughts to several groups. The first group we're going to take it to is our guiding coalition. We're going to take it to our site base. We're going to take it to our graduation committee, and we're going to take it to our senior officers. And we're going to have some conversations with them about what are some possibilities moving forward. Maybe build a little bit of context and understanding on what we can and can't do. We also have to consider other safety precautions that are in place. So we just want to hear your ideas and your thoughts. And we value your feedback. We value your opinion. And we just want to work together to see what we can come up with. So thank you, Mr. Oliver, for posting that. All right, so on to the next one. I think everybody's asking prom. Right now, prom is on hold, and I hate to say it like that, but conceivably speaking, knowing that social distancing, mask wearing, but also being in certain confined areas make it a challenge. For us, I know I've reached out to several of my colleagues who are at other large 6A high schools in the area, and they're all pretty much in the same boat. And so, just right now, I know that our junior class has been asking about what prom is going to look like. Much like prom had to be canceled last year, right now it's postponed. I can't say canceled because we haven't canceled it yet, but we're just trying to figure out how we can even conceivably make it work. And to be transparent with you, with the available students who could attend a prom, you would be looking at approximately 1,400 kids at a prom. That way would supersede any kind of our challenges with COVID guidelines. So we're just trying to figure out how we can make it work. Know that we're trying to figure all the expectations that are in there, but we have had conversations. We are reaching out to others to get some feedback from them. And so I just wanted to mention prom as well. Senior week. I know that we've had some questions. Why didn't we do senior week? Well, we actually did. It was during football, and it was during the last home game, but we had several seniors who were not on campus or didn't participate. So I'm going to get with the senior class officers, and we're going to come up with a robust plan for senior week part 2. We have had the senior dance. We've had the senior pep rally. But we are going to bring back in the second semester, and hopefully we can get a high degree of seniors to participate, whether that be remote or face-to-face, but we're definitely going to do that. I know that the request for senior panoramic we already addressed, but I'll address it one more time. Gathering 700 plus seniors now in one space and cramming them all into onto a platform would not be conceivable or safe. And so what we're looking at doing right now is the idea working with Herndon, but we need all of our seniors to either send Miss Terry.real@ecisd.net your picture upload based on the criteria that we've already talked about, come up to the school, go to room 2217 and have Miss Labordi take your headshot so we can use it, and or we will use your senior picture that you've already taken. So we just have some ideas that are there for you. And then, I guess, the last thing I want to talk about, Mr. Oliver, and I don't know if we have any questions that have come about, but I just want to talk about finishing strong. So have we had any questions that have come in?
We might want to just hang back just on the graduation for a little bit. And I want to echo, last year when COVID hit, we had to do what we had to do, but, we received a lot of, going into the parade, we received a lot of doubt and a lot of, worry and concern, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, as someone that has, been a part of graduations for many, many years, and, of course, my own, that graduation was, and maybe because it was different, and maybe because it was, all the COVIDness and things like that, but it was really, really cool. And actually, I look back on my high school and college graduations, which, I kind of remember, but these ones were really cool. Families were renting cars, they were getting limos, they were getting, and putting, all their, we saw buses, like school buses, decorated, with all the family members inside. And then, instead of being up at the top of the Freeman Coliseum and trying to, zoom in as much as you can on your cell phone camera, you were right there. So once the student got out, or the graduate got out of the car, the stage was right there. And it was really cool to see. It surpassed expectations, by far. And so, and actually, we Facebook Lived it and YouTube Lived it. You can actually go to our Facebook and YouTube videos and look it up. It was fantastic. And definitely it's not the traditional. I know everybody wants the traditional, but I mean it was absolutely fantastic. I would say I would sacrifice one or two of my graduations for one of those, because if I had the opportunity to graduate with my family right there, as opposed to these people I somewhat know or maybe not know or whatever, it was a really, really cool experience. So kudos to you and to your team, Mr. McKay, for that event. And I know whatever you guys are going to do, it's going to be with the best interest of the graduates and their families at heart, and the staff.
Well, and you just talked about what it did provide was not just the personalization for each graduate in there, but it also just the intimacy, because their parents were so close to that experience, and they got to video literally their child receiving the diploma cover and walking onto the stage. And like you said, normally at the Coliseum, you're probably a good 100 to 200 yards away from where the child is going across the stage, and such the intimate opportunities, and to get to still walk the red carpet and still get to go take your senior picture and still get to do those different things. And like you said, man, families did it up, and they decorated their vehicles. They came in party buses. They did it right.
I know they're like, oh, a drive-through like McDonald's I'm telling you, it blew me away at how awesome it was and how much the seniors got into it and their families got into it. And I know it's not traditional, but I mean it was incredible. I mean, they still got to walk across the stage, and the family was right there. Like, I mean, you're not going to get that good. I'm sorry, you're not going to get that good of a picture at a traditional ceremony as you did here.
You still got the cap and gown. You still got you still had the ceremonial turn in the cap. You still got your program. You still got your senior pictures. You still got pomp and circumstance. You still got the alma mater. You still got an opportunity to see the Summa speech and the invocation and the benediction by the senior class officers. So there was a lot of personal touches to that I thought went really well. And again, I agree. Our team did an amazing job, and you were a big part of that too, Mr. Oliver. So thank you for all your help. So I know that some people may be saying, I'm going to shun it, but I'll just say personally, that's the closest I've ever got to see, where I actually got to look parents in the eye face to face as their kids were crossing the stage, and just see the look on their face of pride and joy. And normally I don't ever get to see that. So I'm just, again, we're going to do whatever's best for kids and best for our community. And we're going to think everything through, and we're going to do whatever it is. It's going to be great.
Yes, definitely. And again, you can look up some old under our videos. I was actually looking for it. I was going to play it, but yeah, again, I know you guys will do a fantastic job. Real quick about graduation, because nothing is set in stone, correct? Okay. No. So what about the date and time? Will that change depending on things, or?
Yeah. So the date is set, and this is what we committed to our community last year. May 29th is May 29th is May 29th. That's the day we are going to graduate, because we know that the mobilizing of families and get-togethers, and like I mentioned earlier, we had some surrounding districts that chose to postpone and then didn't even get a graduation because Metro Health is there. Whatever we're going to do, we're going to choose to honor it on that day. Now, we may, again, thinking about various options, we may have to chop it up. There may be something in the morning and something in the evening to try to avoid the heat in the middle of the day. So, we are going to graduate on that day for those seniors who take care of their business and get their credits for us to be able to do. So, again, I would just want to let you know that will be the day, barring some type of major weather event that may prevent us, especially even if it's a parade of graduates, it may be an outdoor type of ceremony may be prohibited, then that may be the only alteration due to inclement weather. But we're in South Texas, and weather can change on a dime, which means it could be raining 1 second and about 30 seconds later the sun's out. So we may be all right, whatever it is that we choose. So that is the date. Now the time, that may fluctuate. Right now it's set at 10 a.m. Freeman Coliseum, Saturday, May 29th. But again, Freeman Coliseum is probably not going to happen, and 10 a.m. is probably going to be slightly altered as well.
I did notice some people asked for a senior page. Let's see, Deborah said, before you leave us, is there a comprehensive list of things that need to get done before graduation? Has someone compiled this somewhere? My head is spinning.
I agree, Miss.
Catch your head.
Yeah, my head's spinning too. It's yeah. So that's kind of our world right now. Yes, ma'am. Actually, if Mr. Oliver, do you have that other picture that we talked about earlier that had the Balfour and the 410 printing?
Yes.
Tapping down.
There we go, right there.
Yeah. So on there is some really important information. So we're going to be sending this out to our parents, as well as this is going to be on our website, as well as we're going to send it to all of our students via email, and it's going to be on their Google pages. But you can see some of the things. January 30th, confirm your senior photo choice. So there's the Google form link right there for your student to fill out. February 5th is the deadline, right, for your senior yearbook page. So again, go to Labordi or contact Miss Labordi, Veronica Labordi at ECHS.net, and she can help out. But that's the day if you wish to purchase. March 1st, we need you to confirm your graduate information. So specifically what your post-secondary plans are, as well as the correct first, middle, and last name of your spelling for your diplomas. Also, cap, and we didn't really talk about cap and gowns yet, ordering either through Balfour or 410. Know that March 1st is their deadline to get the preferred rate. If you don't order your cap and gown by March 1st, they will increase the price, because they're going to have to expedite the shipping and the production of the cap and gowns, just like we've seen across the nation and the world. It takes longer to produce something. So Larry at Balfour said, please encourage them to order it before March 1st on their cap and gown. And then, like we've got on there right now, May 20th. So this is some of the guidelines, but I know that our Go Center website has a lot of information. But I think that's a great idea, Ms. Sievers. I'm going to write a note to put down for us to create a senior page, and we'll put it a link right off of our main campus webpage. I'll get with all of our senior class officers, our counselors, our academic deans, and we'll put down a one pager that's got lists of all of these things and access to and who to contact. So we'll go through, and we'll start on that tomorrow morning, first thing when I get that back here on campus. That's a great question, Ms. Sievers.
And this particular flyer with some of these deadlines, you said you're going to email it out to students.
Yes. A lot of these, in fact, everything that you see on these that we've gone through are being emailed to the students directly to their school email account, as well as being placed on their Google Classrooms. And so their teachers will constantly remind them about it. We're just finding the more ways we can try to deliver it to our students, the more likely it is to get done.
And some people are asking about verification. Is there a way to get, verification, and not just about the senior ad? I've seen it a couple other times, like, how do I know that my student or senior, did this? If a parent wants to follow up on a senior, whether it's the senior ad page form, pictures, doing the Alamo promise seat, like how can they? We talk about Text Connect for grades, but how can they follow up?
Okay, so for the pictures and the senior ad, that's going to be through Miss Labordi. You can email her at veronica.labordi@ecisd.net. Her name is right there. It's LABORDE. So veronica.labordi@ecisd.net. You can email her, and she can let you know whether your child got all the information for the senior ad page, and as well as whether the picture was received or not. She has a quick way of being able to go through that, because that is our journalism yearbook teacher, and she'll do that. If it comes to other senior information, the best route is to contact your child's counselor. They can quickly go into there, verify on the Google spreadsheet whether they filled it out or not. Know that they're going to be hounding them if they haven't. Sometimes the no news is good news. If you haven't heard anything, more than likely that means it's been taken care of. I know our teachers and our staff have been really good about just making a bunch of phone calls until they're able to get a hold of somebody to make them aware that we need something. So that's the best way to go about it, Ms. Lopez.
All right. And then what about like for some of the other things, like, what advice can you give, or what can you say? Like, I want to follow up on, my student did these forms, or that, did these seat for the Alamo Promise. What do you suggest?
Go Center. Go to that Go Center. Reach out to Miss Brimlong and her team. Like I said, they've been incredible this year. They will reach out right away. You can email lauren.brimlong@ecisd.net. Her contact information is on that Go Center website, and her team will be happy to look it up and say, yes, ma'am, we've got them logged for Alamo Promise.
Yeah. I have the URL up there, ecisd.net/Go Center. They got a lot of advertising tonight. They're going to be busy. You're going to have them busy, Mr. McKay.
Yeah. Well, they're they're ready, willing, and able. They've been begging for the seniors to be engaging with them, so they're going to get excited when they all start wanting to get in and find out what we need to do, because the timelines are fast approaching, and this is a great opportunity for our seniors to learn that with some of these timelines, we have nothing to do with it, just like in real life. So deadlines are deadlines, and if you don't meet the deadline, you may not qualify. So for things like Alamo Promise and Save Your Seat and all those other stuff, just to take a few minutes now may save you thousands of dollars in the long run. So
again, we're talking money. That's important.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to at least get your first 2 years, basically free. I don't want to say the word free, but it's whatever after financial aid is covered by Alamo colleges. And then, or in A&M San Antonio has a great program as well. And so they're a 4-year university, and they're right down the road. And so, there's a lot of opportunities. But yeah, seniors, definitely, Lauren and all of her team over at the Go Center, your seniors should be best friends with them right now. Like, they should be asking them all sorts of questions and going by their office or emailing them or calling them or whatever the case may be. All right, Mr. McKay, if you don't have anything else, I think we can pretty much wrap this up. Again, I think we just want to reiterate on graduation again. Just nothing set in stone other than the date. The date's May 29th, but nothing's set in stone. And y'all are looking at all options. I mean, even the Coliseum more than likely is not going to be the option, but I mean, even that's an option.
Right. Well, and again, I just want to thank our parents and any students who may have joined in or is going to come back on the backside and watch it. I think the idea of the senior page was there. Don't forget about the thought exchange. Leave us a thought, an idea that you may have or something you're thinking about, and then try to rate at least 10 other thoughts. And then this will be closing in another week. And so once it closes, we'll be able to take this information back to several stakeholders, to include a large group of gaggle of senior students, just kind of get us some feedback and figure out what we can do to best celebrate and honor our seniors as best we can within the guidelines that are prohibited, and knowing that we have to have some flexibility as we get closer to that May 29th date, because we don't know what will be and what kind of restrictions may be placed on us. So I appreciate the patience and the grace that parents and seniors you've shown us this year. I know that we want to have it. We want to have it now. I believe truly in the term COVID fatigue, that we're all getting a little tired from having to wear the mask. We're getting tired of having to do work remotely. We're having to but just continue to stay the course. And I want you to know that we're invested in your child. We care about your child. We love your child. Graduation for us is something that we really look forward to, because I know we say it, but we don't say it enough. We truly love your kid, and we want your kid to be successful. And at the basketball game last night, I got to see a couple of our former graduates, and they came over, and when the game was over, we got a chance to talk a little bit, and it was just so great to see them, to the point I started to tear up a little bit, because it was just good to see they were being so successful and doing great things. And so my encouragement for our students right? And I tell this story every year to our seniors, and I didn't prepare a full presentation, but there's a gentleman by the name of Kyle Maynard, and Kyle was born with no arms and no legs, but Kyle was an exceptional student who was never going to be defined by his limitations of having no arms and no legs. And so he did wrestling in high school. He actually played middle school football. He did powerlifting. He did a lot of amazing things, and you can find him online, and he's done several podcasts, and there's some videos out there about him. But the thing that I really love is one day he set out to say that he was going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And when I did a little bit of research with Mount Kilimanjaro, there's been 74 people that have died trying to summit. So it's not an easy climb. It's the largest independent mountain range in the world. And so he set out to climb it. He trained for a year. They had to create special things to help him to climb up. So I tell this story why it's so important. It took him 3 weeks to get to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. Gets to the top. He's exhausted. He was able to make the summit. They took pictures. He had to come back down. The BBC went right up to him right away to interview him and asked him, how did you do this? We could not imagine the fatigue that you have. And the thing that he said is, he said, when I got near the top and I was completely exhausted, all I did was focus on the next 3 feet. And so here's what I'm thinking, seniors. You've been doing this now for 12 years. You've got 12 and a half years. You started back in kindergarten. So you've been doing this 12 and a half years. You have a half of a year left. You have 1 semester. You are near the summit. All you need to do right now is focus on the next 3 feet. You don't need to focus any farther than that. Is give your all, be your best self today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the enormity of all the things that you have to do. Focus on the next 3 feet. And before you know it, you're going to be at the top. It's going to be May 29th. We're going to get to celebrate together. And that's how you accomplish great things in life, is you don't focus on the entire project. You focus on the next step of that project. And you look at people that have been elite performers in their lifetimes, whether they've joined the Navy SEALs, whether they've done well in college. Well, all they did was focus on the next step. Like, what do I need to do next to be my best? And so I just want you to know how much we care about you, how much we love you. Don't let your circumstances define you. Know that the only thing we can do is control how we respond to the events that are happening in our lives in order to get the outcomes that we want. So be the Kyle Maynard in your work. Focus on the next 3 feet. Be your best version of yourself. Focus on your attitude and your effort. And just want to know we love you. We say this all the time to our seniors: once a Hornet, always a Hornet. And we are EC. So we hope everybody has a great night. Thank you, Mr. Oliver, for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McKay. And I do want to remind the viewers that you can go back at the links that you took to watch this video tonight. You can go back at any time. So I know for the lady that said her head was spinning, you can always go back and watch this video. Same YouTube link. It's not going anywhere. It's up there 24/7, 365 for you to access. You may want to bookmark it or something like that, but it is there for you to check out again. Again, thank you all so much for watching. And thank you very much, Mr. McKay, for your time. And East Central ISD, we'll see you.